You know, I was really happy the other day to see that TSR, the company that created Dungeons and Dragons, had returned, and were planning on making games once more. Many others also noticed, and sadly, some not with kind eyes. TSR is now coming under fire and all thanks to an interview that Ernest Gary Gygax, the son of Gary Gygax, co-creator of Dungeons and Dragons, had in a podcast called Live from the Bunker from the YouTube channel Sci-Fi for Me. In said interview, Gygax talked about why TSR returned amongst other things. But what has had the Twitter mob riling against TSR was a remark from Gygax that said, quote, "There's a ton of artists and game designers and people that play, and recently they were dissed for being old-fashioned, possibly anti-modern trends and enforcing or even having the concepts of gender identity," end quote. Now, according to the Twitter angry mob of activists, this statement sounds like Gygax is against diversity, that he's a transphobic and every other Islamophobe that you can imagine. If I'm being honest with you, I don't really see any of that. I don't think that he's saying that he, or TSR for that matter, are going against diversity. I don't see what the outrage is all about, save for the fact that Gygax seems to want to bring back the old school gaming style. Somehow, that seems problematic to some individuals using Twitter more than they really should. This Twitter mob thinks that RPGs in the past were all about discrimination. I mean, do you even know the history of D&D? In the past, and I'm talking roughly from 1977 to at least the early 2000s, when the game was not really that popular, it was frowned upon by the so-called popular kids. It was an unknown game. It was of course unpopular, and it was regarded as geek stuff that nobody wanted to get close to. I mean, Geeks and Freaks, the TV show, painted it accurately with James Franco's character when he joins the geeks to play the game, when at first he thought of it as weird and uncool, only to find out that he really had a great time, he enjoyed the game, he wanted to play it again, and he enjoyed the company of these guys that nobody cared about. That was the reality of every D&D player back in the day. If you even get close to admitting to playing D&D in those days, or if you played any other RPG or did any other geek stuff, you'd get beaten up to a pulp. You would be mocked, you would be thrown to the rubbish, and no one would want to be near you or even acknowledge your existence. I mean, there were even some guys who played it tough at school, but in the secrecy of their homes they played the game. So if it became public knowledge, it would mean the end of their rebel cool reputations and nobody would ever talk to them. For that reason, any kid interested in D&D would be more than welcome, because it wasn't easy to have others to play with. It wasn't easy to be open about the hobby and enjoy it with others without taking a beating. Are you really seriously implying that these poor kids that were discriminated and shunned from society were in reality the discriminative guys and they were the snob ones towards other people? Are you serious about that? Please, come on. They were not the alpha males, and they never were, and they are not now. They were the beat-up kids. They were the recluse, the shunned from society. They were the rejects. Come on, man. It's ridiculous to think that RPG groups were discriminative. These groups were some of the most welcoming communities simply because they knew what it felt like to be rejected. Stupidly enough, that's what these SJW weirdos think. This is coming from Twitter, and it was posted right after the Gygax interview. And it says the following, quote, "Listen, thanks to Action Thieves getting validated by Ernie Gygax, she's gonna get loud in the scene for a while. Close ranks, shields up, and don't give an inch. The TTRPG scene is ours. Loving, open, and ready to keep it that way. Look out for each other." End quote. Who would have thought it, right? The same crowd complaining they're being gatekept from the hobby are now trying to gatekeep the very same guys who have always been fans of it. So much for love and openness, right? If you want to have something played out on your table, like say having more gay characters, having more black characters, or with other ethnical features, you can have it. Nobody's going to tell you not to have it. Nobody's going to come and prohibit that from happening on your table. This stupid notion that gay people, trans people, or other people were discriminated in RPGs is simply not true. These deranged individuals just want to paint it that way so they can get empowered by companies as they are trying to shame them into accepting them. You don't believe me? Just look at what they are trying to do to TSR. Here from this tweet, quote, "Could you please directly expand upon the comments made by Ernie Gygax about gender identity? Does this company support transgender people?" End quote. Whoa, 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 whoa. So it's only about making a statement with you, right? You pieces of crap. Well, for your displeasure, TSR did release a statement, which in my opinion they needn't do, but they did anyways, and it reads as following, quote, "We are intolerant of hatred of any kind from all sides. All players are welcome at our table. Thanks to the role-playing community, we have a deep commitment to diversity and inclusion," end quote. And there you have it. But lo and behold, this is not enough for the ideological imbeciles, because what they want is for the company to bend their knee, to say it's on their side, dissing the same fans it's trying to please. Why? Well, because they are narcissistic bastards who take pleasure in seeing others suffer and get mad. Same thing with the orc equals black people thing. Nobody in their right minds would have even dared to think that. Orcs are not racist representations. The ones being racist are the people painting orcs as black because they want something to be outraged for. Now, what happened when the conversation began in that part? These activists and deranged Kool-Aid-haired weirdos ran their ugly mouths saying we shouldn't play the game and go make our own games if we weren't willing to get with the times and accept these unnecessary, idiotic changes. Well, guess what, mother effers? That's exactly what TSR is doing. TSR isn't for you then. You all already hijacked D&D and are right now admitted by your own ilk gatekeeping everybody else from the game. So, if fans want to play old school, what's your problem with that? Why yell like the salty bitches you are against the company that is giving them what they want? This is beyond ridiculous. What these ideologues want isn't for you or anybody else to go make their own entertainment. Oh no, sir, no. Like TSR is doing right now, they don't want that. Like Comicsgate is trying to do, they don't like that. What they want is to get everyone in line and accept the changes they've helped instill in your favorite piece of entertainment, whether you like it or not, or else. And you know what? That's pathetic. If you don't like what Gygax or TSR think or have to say, then maybe it's not for you. Maybe you can leave the company alone, or its employees, or its fans. Maybe you can go and enjoy your crappy entertainment. Go and leave people alone. Again, I don't see Gygax saying anything bad, or going against anyone. What I see here is that these weird intersectional imbeciles are afraid TSR might actually be successful. Why? I mean, you really think they'll be able to come against Wizards? That they will be able to compete? Come on! Wizards is owned by Hasbro. They are now a gigantic company. TSR coming back won't even make a dent in Wizards, let's be honest. It's okay that we have TSR back with the old-fashioned stuff that many enjoyed. The fact they want to go back doesn't mean they will go for discrimination because A, it didn't happen in the past, it has never happened, and B, there are lots of things from the old games and systems that many people cherish and which got lost by the way with new and new editions. Tell me, please, what's wrong with that? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong. The fact that there is this company which apparently is willing to please the fans, cater to their consumers, and make quality games, which is something the ideologues and the SJWs clearly don't want. They want companies to bend the knee to their whims, and I, for one, am tired of seeing that. So, I offer my full support to TSR, wishing them all the success that they can get and that they make great games for everyone so that they can enjoy them free of any political implication. And as for the people that we have seen in this video, don't contact them. Don't harass them. Don't attack them. Just let them die mad and angry that for once a company is not catering to their own whims. Let me know down below your opinion on this topic, and until next time, peace out.